Okay, to know.
Terry and Spencer is Highway 99 issue. How long do you think that'll be out of commission? I haven't heard.
I emailed Paul with one of the main ODOT guys over it, and I can forward you, Clint, what he sent, but it doesn't have time flying. And he's supposed to be getting back to me soon to let us know.
Just you have to get the sewer in. So that they,
Storm line,
so
Will the city have to lend the state money?
it's their storm line.
I know.
Well, we can go fix it for them.
Yeah.
If it's moving, I mean, that's an option. I asked Paul if there's anything we can do, but the bad thing is Spencer's crew went TV'd all of it for him 2 years ago, so they knew where the problems were.
Oh, and they didn't.
They didn't, somehow it didn't get, like,
why are we not surprised?
we shouldn't even waste their time. We didn't want it to get held up because of the storm, and because we knew there was problems, but, and maybe there's more to it than we know.
There might be.
You know, but,
That's all right.
we tried to be proactive and help
I
ODOT.
had to do
No,
some-
I know we
I had to
do.
do some ODOT on it.
Yeah, it's too bad because it'd be nice to get it done for sure.
Um,
And this isn't helping. That road's just gonna explode with cold and
but
warm.
we'll do it. And if you guys sign this off, sometimes I like, who's who on the citizens.
Yeah. Do you have a pen?
I got one.
Okay.
I'm sure it's probably huge change orders and they might not have them. I know that when we were working with them trying to get some stuff put in, like extra sidewalks and stuff like that, they were really tight on funding. So to go get them a big storm line change orders, and stuff like that might hurt their project, might have to find some more money. The city could give them some, I guess.
And they do our right turn only.
Yeah. We could pay them.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay. Are we all set?
8:29, you got 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
Is Tracy gonna be?
Oh, now it takes 30.
I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay. We will get started, and then if Tracy and others filter through, we will proceed with that. We do have right at a quorum, or a little bit more, I guess. We do have, yeah, there's 5 of us, so we're good. 2 of our members can't be here today. Bob's on vacation, and same with Gary, they're both on vacation this week, so. I'm Deanna Baltarb, I'm the vice chairperson, and filling in with Bob's absence. And then, so if anyone wants a copy of an agenda, I can pass that out. I did print off CIP reports as well, as that might be a discussion. We have 2 citizens here to discuss with. One is with over on the south side of town, and then the other one is with Baker, Baker and 6 on the north side. So so we'll kind of see where we can go. Like we've discussed before, we normally have the citizens come in and present, and then we try to follow through with action plan. Next time, I did print off some stuff from emails I received from Bob and from others who chimed in about North Baker and that stuff there. So we'll kind of go from there. Right now, I'll have people go around and introduce themselves. Clint, if you want to start.
Sure. Clint Coleman, a committee member.
Jackie Jones, the secretary for the commission.
I'm Deanna Baltarb, vice chairperson.
Dan Heward, citizen.
Spencer Pollock, Canby Public Works.
Jerry Nosey, Canby Public Works.
I'm Bill Vergillion, and I'm a citizen from Hope Village, so.
Eric, do you want to introduce?
Good morning. My name is Eric Van Zant, board member.
And then Jenny.
Yep, good morning. I'm Jenny Driscoll, and I'm also part of the committee.
Thank you, everyone. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes from February 8th that Jackie emailed out? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I would move that we approve the minutes of the February 8th, 2023 meeting.
I'll second.
Thank you both very much. Okay, I am going to,
Oh, excuse me, do we need to vote on that?
oh, yeah, sorry.
No, that's all right.
Okay, can we all vote on the approval of the minutes from February 8th meeting?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, good. It passed. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
Okay, I think what I'll have to do is, Bill wanted to present for, over on the south side. I'm gonna have him start and then, we'll see, then we'll go into the old business.
Okay, and I'm assuming after I present, it's just we have the exit.
Well, you're welcome to stay.
You
if
can,
want
you
to.
can stay too if you'd like. It's up to you.
Okay.
We understand, though, if you-
We're not super exciting.
I gave you handouts that the top one is keyed to the color, and I'm sorry this is so small, so you may not be familiar with it. This is Hope Village, and what I'm talking about is this little part over here that's on the other side of Fur. It's actually to, I think they call it east. Directions don't make sense to me here in Canby because, anyway. But this is First Street comes down here. And as you well know, there's been a lot of development down in this area. So the traffic on Fur has really increased. He is magic. So that area, I'll go over here to his map, much nicer. So this is the area that we're talking about here. And when this was built, these are actually duplexes. The county had this road and the county wouldn't let us put crosswalks in. So we put in protrusions. And if you've been down that, you know that we've had complaints sometimes if the person's not paying attention, they'll hit the protrusion on the one side. Okay, what we would like to do, my goodness, he is good.
I am.
Magical
Which
space.
way?
I think you're close.
Yeah, you are very
Or
close.
it's not built. It's an old map.
Oh, this is an old map.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta go back.
It's not there yet. Okay.
So what we're asking is if we could have a crosswalk put in from protrusion to protrusion. That's the request.
I like that. It's a more accurate description.
Yeah,
Well, and so on both sides, you're probably familiar with this, it's handicapped accessible with,
Yeah, it's
so,
ready.
so that,
It's definitely could use it right now.
yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. That is exactly, and you
There
can,
was something to this. There was something to this. Why was the county not allowing it to be striped? They just didn't want to maintain it, right?
they didn't want to maintain it, and they were arguing that it was too close to the
The other
intersection.
intersection, yeah.
But you guys understand this much better.
Wants to check it out.
So anyway, that's,
a slam dunk.
yeah, this one I think is a.
If we could wait till it's not snowing though.
well, we would just, it just seems to us it would be safer for the residents because we have traffic going back and forth. So, okay, that's all my presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Spencer, you made that beautiful.
Thanks so much for the nice
Yeah, I
illustration.
feel bad because you spent so much time
I
on all
know,
of
it's
this.
beautiful little touches.
Yeah, well, you guys know Frank Howard and Craig Gingrich, and they went around and around with the county, so they said, you know, it's very different. So they gave me permission to come.
We're gonna build ADA ramps and make it accessible to cross there, but we're not gonna stripe it,
That
because it's
doesn't-
too close to the intersection.
That doesn't even make sense.
Awesome, awesome.
So is there a light?
Amazing.
Is there a liability there then? Like, they put the
They-
brakes there, but it's. too
Well,
close to the-
no,
That's
because,
telling you to cross there.
because
Yeah,
anywhere
that's-
someone walks up to the curb, the traffic, they're supposed to stop.
Legally.
Legally, they're supposed to
I need the
stop, so
lines.
Spencer, that is amazing, because that shows the
Why-
protrusions, exactly.
Do those protrusions help calm the speeders?
Well, they're supposed to,
That's the ideology.
and there's this is one of the, what do you call them, drains
Catch
here?
basin.
Yeah, and sometimes it floods, so it really helps slow the traffic going that way.
The bike and ped people really do not like
Oh,
Oh,
it. It
oh,
pushes
sure.
them, it pushes them into,
But see,
Well-
now, when they were selling bump outs to us, the pushing them into traffic was the selling point.
yes, exactly, I know,
So that they could be viewed by the driver.
yeah, you're never gonna make, you're always gonna upset one group.
Yeah,
Oh,
You be good.
That's all I need the capitals.
according to Craig and Frank, the protrusions cost more than it would have to just put in crosswalk.
Yeah, they could have just put a truncated domes and put in a crossing and it would save money, but I mean, the whole village was paying for it, so.
That's, you got it.
Well, I don't
Thank
even
you.
think there's anything to do on that, we just do a work order and
Wait, unless,
we
we
have,
can,
we request that we wait to do it till you guys get kind of striping and
Yeah.
warm weather.
Would you like a motion on that or not necessarily?
You guys can, if it helps you.
I motion to approve the painted crosswalk on the south curb.
And I second that.
Good job.
And you're presiding over the meeting, so you call for the vote.
Oh, yeah. Can we have a motion was presented? Can we vote on doing the crosswalk at South First Street that was just presented? Please say aye if you're in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you, guys, very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, really? I mean, you can sit here and deliberate, but it sounds easy.
Yeah, and if you, Bill, you're welcome to stay if you'd like, or you can head out if you'd like, whichever works best for you.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe you could try your circle. Is that okay? Sure. I can do that. Okay, that's all right.
And then now we'll move on to the Baker Street, where you guys did we had the field meeting. And yeah. Did everyone get Bob's email regarding that?
Yep, I did.
Okay. So Bob had mentioned that he apologized for not being able to be at the meeting today. He brought up some suggestions and then there was some comments after that. But Bob had mentioned something about installing a stop sign on North Sixth Street with the white line where it intersects with North Baker. Public Works would then install it wherever the rules indicated is appropriate. This will result in it being set back from the intersection, but will have cars coming to a stop and being slower and making the turn. Citizens exiting their driveway in the area will be a little safer and also will reduce confusion of traffic flow at the intersection. In addition, cars making a left turn from North Baker into North Sixth will quickly learn and see they are entering an opposing lane if they do not make a wide enough turn. Second point was also, as I believe it was suggested by Clint, have yellow lines painted down North Baker and North Sixth, where these two streets intersect close to the intersection to set the traffic flow. A third one was any discussion of a large CIP, capital improvement project to change to shape of the corner should be delayed till there is a more accurate cost estimate. A full discussion of it as part of the projected CIP, more accurate estimate, projected time of completion of the project, and most importantly, a review of lesser involved measures. Public Works has been asking for our input on the CIP list, with what I believe comes the responsibility of not only making suggestions, but also understanding and providing transparency to citizens, but the real possibility of it happening and the realistic timetable. Moving forward with the first two suggestions will provide good information about their impact on the problems facing the area and whether more serious intervention is needed. And then there were emails with Gary. Gary had written, Gary Bryant wrote, Bob, good morning. I think I have some of the suggestions for slowing traffic at North Baker and Northwest 6. So you might want to forward these to our group, being as how neither of us will be at the next meeting. 1, yellow stripe on North Baker to intersection of 6. 2, island at intersection to keep traffic from cutting into oncoming traffic at 6. 3rd, signage blind corner. 4, large mirror at intersection to be seen from North Baker and Northwest 6 located on private property. 5, reconfigure corner of Northwest 6 to move traffic out from curve into the road, possibly paint bike lane or question mark. 6, create turnabout island, not popular, and that's the most costly problem. Gary also then replied, I might add to number 5, stop sign on North 6th and Baker Street. And then Eric had sent in his comments as well. He mentioned that the large mirror was talked about to the individual and others, and if the person follows through, should be resolved on their end, question mark. As for the other recommendations, 1, reconfigure corner of Northwest 6 to move traffic out from curve in road, paint or candlestick lane to be determined by City Works as needed. 2, the yellow striping on North Baker onto Northwest 6, distance to be determined by City Works as needed. 3, signage blind corner on North Baker and Northwest 6th. Great recommendations from Gary. So I appreciate the input that I saw. Unfortunately for me with work, I wasn't able to be at the on-site visit, but I'm familiar with the neighborhood because I have friends that live over there, and Christmas time, I like to drive by the lights. So I do know that that area we need to look at, and just curious if anyone has any comments from the on-site visit, if anyone wants to share anything, if we want to wait until Gary and Bob are back. Clint, did you have? Okay.
I mean, I went to the site, and my understanding, I don't think the neighbors wanted a stop sign because of the noise that it's gonna cause, and the added issue with having a stop sign right in front of your house.
Is it okay?
It did seem that the striping and actually just kind of demarcating where the intersection and the 2 streets was the most popular option and the least cost.
The stop sign, the neighbor that lives right on the corner is quite in favor of that.
Oh.
Just because it will get
Just wanna make sure, 'cause once
slow
you have
down
that,
as they're coming around that corner. I think, number one, I preface this by saying thank you for coming out and looking at this. This was very proactive on you guys' part, and I really, we all appreciate it. All of the suggestions are great. We defer to what the city guys are thinking on this. The only thing that I might add, I like this, we like the center line stripe to get the traffic over. The stop sign is fine, that's good. The only thing that we would probably want to include is possibly a pedestrian stripe around that corner to get the traffic again out into the street, so that when they stop at the stop sign, they don't immediately cut in on that corner. You know, making a tight turn. So if we had a stripe that went around there, similar to the stripe that's on the one way, that would shove the cars out, which it has done on the one way. So that would be the only thing that we would interject on that.
And your one-way stripe there needs to be redone, doesn't it?
Yes, those stripes need to be, I would just say that, you know, this afternoon when it quits snowing, that they would get out there and repaint those, we appreciate it. That was a joke. A little bit of humor there, folks.
Any question?
Jenny,
Yes.
did you have a question?
Oh, no. No.
Oh, okay, just want to make sure.
If I could add, Jerry and Spencer, do you feel like, in hearing everything that's been said, do you feel like you need anything? What would you like from us to?
If we wanted to put a stop, my request, and if we wanted to put a stop sign in, I would like to change the curb radius like down the street.
Okay, no, but before we did that, could we start by approving striping, center stripe, and then pedestrian stripe?
Yeah, the center striping, I don't think is any issue. The only issue I would have, Dan, with putting a stripe around that corner for a pedestrian path is it would put some liability on the city, just as far as promoting
Where people walk.
Can you make a bike lane instead?
If there's just an edge line on the right side of 6 there, is that actually indicating it's for anyone in particular, or is it just showing what the edge of the street should be? Like if there was just a line, 2 feet out from the curve there, for around the curve, would that actually be a commitment to anything? Or would that just say this is the edge?
I think that Jerry's kind of right. If we're gonna do anything for striping over here, it would just be better to redo the curb.
That's a option.
It is.
Do I remember correctly that we could potentially put in a stop bar and not a stop sign as an interim step?
You have to have a stop sign to have a stop bar.
You do have to have a stop sign. Okay, sorry.
So to get a stop sign, we have to re-engineer the turn, is what you're.
I mean, I would really recommend it. I mean, I think that we would want to go through engineering and stuff like that, but I wouldn't feel comfortable putting stop in there.
It's a weird corner.
Yeah.
You're gonna stop.
Because you're gonna,
You gotta stop and you still gotta.
I would change it to exactly like 6th place if I was going to stop in. Just like that, make it a sharp.
190.
Yep. Pretty simple, pretty safe. It's, you know what I mean? And then just turn the property owner, landscape it. And
Could you accomplish that with the candlesticks?
you can, it's just, it's either pay for it now or pay for it later. We're gonna have to do sweep and clean behind the candlesticks. They're gonna break off. And by the time you maintain that over years, if it's that big of a safety concern, and it's that big of a deal, I would rather spend the money and do it right if we deem that it's not a safe situation, you know
I'm
what I
certainly
mean?
not gonna disagree with you on
Yeah.
that. I just am kind of a tightwad when it comes to stuff.
No, and we are too, and we don't like, wasting your guys' money at all, because it is your guys' money, but I mean, there's a group here and everyone's came and we met with a whole bunch of people out there, and if the striping is easy for us, it's just every year that goes at it. But I mean, if you guys want to try the striping and then it still have problems, then I think we're gonna have to look at moving the curb.
What do you think about that starting with?
I don't
striping?
know.
Do a 2-step.
I mean, it's an option. I don't want someone to get hurt in the meantime, that's the.
I'll make a motion that I move that the city of Public Works work with Dan in the neighborhood and come up with a striping package to make that a safer corner.
Do I have a second? I
Second that.
And then let's vote on that motion about making North Baker and Northwest Sixth safer at the time being. Do we, if you, yes, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those,
Right, we didn't hear from. Jenny's not gonna-
I'm in favor.
okay,
Okay, super.
sounds good. Motion passes.
Then you keep us posted, Dan, if that doesn't work.
Okay, well, we'll work with these guys. We'll follow their lead. How's that?
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job, you guys.
And then I believe that's all the citizen inputs for today. And then now we're down to the old business.
Excuse me. I'm sorry to interrupt. I was too busy sneezing to time it out good. But before we completely wrap up the 6th Street and Baker, there had been discussion about adding a no trucks sign to the one-way portion of the street that kind of when Baker ends and starts turning into that one-way down to the battery factory. Is that still an option for them?
Because we had that sign.
We took down the no truck and put it, or no, isn't there, is it a one-way now, or is it a truck sign now?
There is a no truck there, but there's not a one-way thing
Okay,
on that side. There is several on the other side, but there's not on this side. There is a sign that says no trucks because I stand.
This is just right at the entrance to the street there. So there's a no truck sign in front of the neighbor who lives on Baker where 6th runs right into it. So there's an existing city sign, and there had been some discussion about should we just slap a little no trucks sign on the same post? Yeah, the one that's like right there,
It
just
says,
to help reinforce that it shouldn't have large trucks going down there.
That's interesting. I think.
I thought,
If there's not, there should be.
there, I can't
There's a
remember
sign
what,
there.
there was a sign there,
It says no trucks.
and
that's what I thought. I thought it said no trucks, or it say one way.
Needs to be raised up.
It doesn't say.
Yeah, maybe we needed to add a one-way to it. There was something we wanted to add to it. It says something and we needed to add something to it. So sorry if I'm conflating which one's which.
She wanted one way.
yes,
I think it
that-
says no trucks, but Jenny wanted it to say one way.
Both of us actually were.
Yeah,
Both did. Yeah, okay. I think that's what.
yes, I'll get another sign put up over there for one way.
And this picture that we're looking at, the popsicles, actually, that's very well could have been when it was still two-way.
It might have been, this was back in
Yeah, the candlestick's
2013.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Updated.
That's my son's car when he was still living at home.
You're gonna have to talk to Google.
Okay. So now on to old business. The CIP priorities discussion. I did print out some, so, but I wasn't sure if this is something that we want to wait till Bob and Gary are back, or if this is something that we want to try to discuss now, because it seems like we keep pushing it.
What's the deadline?
Well,
I thought we were having a separate meeting on this.
we need to
Yeah.
soon because we're working on budget right now.
Yeah.
And so right now, I'll just let you know what my priorities are and then you guys can think about it. But we just got an estimate. I really want to do 10th. Not that one, not Maple, 10th from Locust, those two projects. Northeast of those two.
There we go.
Okay.
Those two are what I'm gonna put in next year's budget.
It-
To see if it- Yep, go from
Which one, I'm
From-
sorry.
Northeast 10th Avenue. And I want to, so Spencer's finishing up Locust Street project, the sidewalk project. I want to go from Locust all the way to Pine. And then following year, go around the corner by Tracy's and to 4th. And clean up that hole around the fairgrounds.
So that, yeah, that's
So
really.
10th and 4th. then.
10th,
So
I want to do that. They're both listed on there. I want to move them to 24.
So right now, we have those scheduled for 25. We want to move those up to 24.
See Locust, 10th Avenue North Ivy Locust, it doesn't seem to be anyone's priority. I want to move that out. I want to move this around. Just adjust it, but I want you guys, this group today, if they could say, the two that, the ones that I have been bringing up, that I've been brought up, that are safety concerns that need to be addressed, are the two I'm talking about, the 2 Northeast 10th, Locust. Yeah, all the way to Pine. I want to do those two. And then the other one that's an issue that if it's a priority is the one over by 4th Avenue by the train depot. That's on here too.
Yeah, that's over on
Yeah,
20.
it's the second one on the list, the 4th to 10th.
That's a priority too. I wouldn't mind doing that, but right now, my plan, if I don't get any direction from traffic safety, any recommendation, I'm gonna do 10th Avenue.
If I could ask you one question,
Yes,
does it need to go on your CIP, like where you have that 4-way stop at Territorial and Redwood, in order to get, to take away the training wheels and put up a red, whether it's around the sign or whatever it is?
that's just that would be like, that would be have Spencer throw it in as a budgeting thing.
Okay,
That's not a capital project.
Okay.
So if the group decided that we wanted to put lighted stop signs, it'd be something that you would ask Public Works to.
well, if I can add something, I feel very comfortable with the Public Works recommendations, project priority list, and unless anyone's opposed, I would move that we support the Public Works recommendations for their CIP projects.
Jerry, what do we have to do to move the Pine Street realignment out of 27 and make it sooner?
If you, like Tracy, you could talk to your Traffic Safety Commission to move that to this year's budget. And I would do it now gladly. I would love.
Well, I did in the budget to do it this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, anything, so Tracy, I have funding. I think,
That's why I'm asking you the big questions.
I'm working with finance, but I haven't gotten hard numbers, but just going off how many years I've been doing this, we have money. Unless it went somewhere that I don't know, which I don't know how it would, because him and I are doing the projects. But if you guys, that's what I was kind of hoping you guys would make a recommendation. And don't worry about this, don't look at this whole thing, but look at the list and give me a recommendation to move forward with one of these projects this year. Because I want to do one of these every year.
Well, let's do the 3 that you talked about, the 4th, the 2 10th.
I have
Well, it's
budgeted,
not fourth, no, it is, it's what we're talking about is, it's just above, all of it, it's just above the Northeast 10th one, it's the North Pine
I can
realignment.
do,
So that is to move the road literally and
can
make
you
it
bring
so
up
it
the
comes up.
intersection and show
please,
it?
yeah.
So, and Tracy, honestly, with the Public Works team you have right now,
Mhm.
I don't want to do it, but you have the right team to do it. Does that make sense? Because it's gonna be a
Yeah.
hard project.
I get that, but we've talked about it for a long time, and I can tell you from living there, I see at least one, if not 2 or 3 a day, just me. Now, I'm telling you, if I'm catching it, it's happening all day long. People just blowing through that stop sign. As soon as the light turns green, everybody goes. And it's every day.
So Spencer, can you go back up to
I
this
see it all the
review? I'll show you what.
And I'm not even nice about it anymore. I'm like, there's a point in the sign.
Don't touch the screen.
I know it moves it, right now?
Yeah.
No,
So,
Spencer didn't.
No, I didn't.
Okay. I thought you did it.
so this gentleman needs sewer. He doesn't have sewer.
Automax.
Yep, and it's Bill Kaiser.
He doesn't have sewer.
No, he's on septic. And so I've been working with him for years. If we bring sewer up, he'll give me this right away to go through here. And Tom Scott wants to work a deal with me to go through here too. Am I doing that? So the
Are
road,
you messing with him? Give me your mouse.
the road would, this would be straightened out. It would be a stop sign coming in here. The road would go straight. We would underground all this power. And the road would kind of come in here and we'd trade some property with Tom Scott. So we would give the train depot, we'd take this property and give the train depot untouched. I'm doing that.
Yep, you are doing that, because I took the mouse.
So, no, so we would do property swap and put their parking on the back. Same, and we give trade, and Tom Scott's on board with this, and I got engineer estimates on this and everything. So 10th and this are both ready to go. So go back to the other project is, did I go too much?
Yeah.
Can you zoom me out so I can show them?
Smart TVs are smarter.
You guys don't know what you're missing there on TV.
I'm doing screen share, so they're.
This is the other, and and I can give you guys, if you guys get a chance to write it, but
We're
10
starting.
right here to here is the other one. So I broke this up into phases over the next 5 years. I wanted to do either this or this, but just keep going one way or the other and connect all that. Cause we got Locust, well, he'll have Locust done someday.
Yeah.
But
Oh, geez.
But I just want a project. I don't need you guys to look at the whole CIP. We can take time to adjust that year, but just pick out a project for public works that's a priority with this group.
How long would that project take? And would you have to start at a specific time of the year to do the fourth one?
It would take, which one?
The
Fourth
realignment.
realignment?
It'd take a year to do.
Okay, and then because of all the activities around there, would you have to like get started early in the year and?
What I would do is I got some design done on it already. I think Tracy saw the book. I went through with all the projects that that I would like to do and just show you guys, but if it did get put on the CIP, July 1, what I would do is probably an RFQ for an engineering service to handle it, and then have them take it through construction contract and everything else. And just so we
Does the work on 99 potentially impact the desire to do it sooner or later?
It does, to me, it does. It's such an unsafe intersection. There's so many
That
problems. We
light.
have so many calls because of the light. It would push that intersection back so that you could have more stacking, more
Because
room.
you need a dedicated turn signal on top.
Yes.
And it's really tricky to maneuver that if you want to go like we're down Pine.
Yeah.
Because you're in that whole congested area. By moving it back there, it's gonna let traffic flow freely behind it. It's gonna be a difficult project just because you're dealing with Tom Scott, Kaiser, and the train depot. But it's an important
There's
project.
a safety issue there.
There's a safety issue there.
Absolutely. Any wrecks, right?
Are you guys all okay moving forward?
Yeah, no.
How about you guys on
So-
TV?
So, Bob's gonna strangle us.
It's all right.
Maybe we do both.
Well, we're not discounting 10. We understand that it is a safety issue for walkability, but I just feel like how many people run that stop sign on a daily basis? We're gonna have some serious
Yeah.
crashes there.
I think
One,
if
it's
we-
just bad.
I think if we.
I have a question.
Okay,
Yeah, Eric.
So my understanding is that on the corner, we do not need, it's not regarding the CPI.
Oh my God, Eric.
The train depot corner.
Yes, it's on the CIP.
It is.
It is. It's on the CIP list.
It's called North Pine realignment.
North Pine realignment right here.
800K.
Wow, that's pretty affordable. I would have thought it would be a bigger project.
It's short. It depends on how far we take it.
Yeah.
If I would make it clear to 10, then it'll turn into a big project.
so you named 3 projects, and could you name them in the order that you'd like to do them?
Like on what's right to do for the city of Canby or what's easier
Yes.
for the area.
That's the city, Jerry.
Mine's important to me. The Pine realignment is
So
my
that would be
number one
number
for
one.
safety.
And then what would be number 2?
10.
And then what's 3?
3 would be, 3 would either be finishing the sidewalks all the way down Ivy between, it's on there. It's not as important as many complaints, but it's important to me.
If you've ever walked that.
But
And I would interject that it's important because we have a lot of kids who walk to school at that elementary school and there's no sidewalks.
yeah, numbers, you know what, honestly, my order that I would like to do would be Pine realignment, 10th Avenue, And then I'd like to finish Maple
Okay,
from down at Bob Cambras to Territorial. In front, you know what I mean? Have
14th.
And we have money for that because we got money from the county to take that over. That would be my number 3rd.
well,
And then Ivy sidewalk would be a fill-in one.
I move that we, if Public Works complete those 3 CIP projects in the order that they recommend.
Well, like South Ivy, it's like,
Well, that's happening.
okay.
It's on the CIP,
Sidewalk
so I
down
can do any of these, you know, like, we have time, so if you guys wanted to think about it, we have time, because right now I'm either in your 10th or, I'm happy to hear that there's interest in Pine.
Yeah, I'm actually for Pine Alignment.
Yeah,
What about a second?
So-
Anybody
Yeah,
want
we
a
don't have a second, so you don't have, technically can't have discussion yet. Push it on the table.
Pine seems really important, but my concern is if that is prioritized to start in on next for, say, the 23-year, 23 is the one I'd be most concerned about. We're going to have 99 all torn up, and we're losing an important artery off of 99 and into the north side of town, if that's going to be torn up for a while. And I think that would cause even more problems down onto 10th and onto Maple and to these other problem areas, because people are not, they've got one less option. And if that whole intersection has to be shut down for any period of time, just to allow for things to really be torn up and fixed, that would be a concern of mine.
It's gonna be, I mean, Jenny's right, it's gonna be a tough project just because of that.
But I think your good judgment has served you well in the past, and I think giving you the flexibility to pursue those 3 CIP projects in the order and time that you deem appropriate.
and there's
would
enough
seem
roads,
reasonable.
yeah, there's enough roads in Canby where you can go different ways. I mean,
You look,
But if you would take that intersection specifically, your alternatives are going to be Redwood down by Fred Meyer, which already has timing issues, and
stop. We need to have a second before we can.
down is Ivy.
Jenny,
So you're redirecting people to already really congested intersections if they can't take Pine. Or
Jenny,
not Pine, but Fourth and Pine,
Jenny,
Yeah,
we cannot have a discussion until we have a second. So please,
okay,
You're discussing a motion and there's no second for it yet. Yes.
okay, cool.
I wish you would. I second this. I made the motion. No, click.
So
Okay.
I will interject here. I snuck in a second. So, and I will again. So I second the motion.
okay,
Oh, okay.
okay,
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Nobody
it
heard
was
it.
already seconded.
Yeah.
Nobody heard it.
Yeah, hell, I didn't hear the motion. So,
Okay, so now we have, okay, so those in favor with, working on giving Jerry this, approval of this motion for working on the CIPs for starting at the North Pine Street realignment and then going to Northeast 10th. Please say aye if you're in favor of the motion that Clint presented, was seconded.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I didn't hear the entire motion, but I think I might be. Would you mind repeating it, please?
Yeah.
I move we give Public Works the authority to pursue the 3 projects in the order and time that they deem appropriate.
We are going to have further discussion about this, or we're not.
No,
It's up.
Then I guess I'm going to be the dissenter, just because there's, real quick, just to throw it out there. My hesitation in that is not that I don't think that Public Works, that, Jerry and Spencer, a heck of a lot more about this than I do, so I don't want to seem like the jerk who thinks I know better. The only thing I wanted to throw out there is for some of these projects, we might have less traffic impact if we kind of combine them. Like when I look at the Ivy projects, that has something for 23, 24, 25, and 26. So that means for 4 years plus, depending on things get done on time, you'd have a fairly major artery torn up in some way, shape, or form. And it might make more sense potentially if we have the resources to do it all at once. I mean, would it not make sense just to have certain areas be miserable for the period of time that they need to be resolved? And then at least we can call that done, rather than kind of getting into the stereotypical, ODOT loop of you're working on it indefinitely and then you're fixing it again before you're done fixing it. Like that's my concern with some of the outlined timelines of things, is that by splitting it up, we might actually be making it more of a burden for the community to have to deal with ongoing issues in the same areas for a long period of time.
Well, if I could add to that, in the motion that I initially made, I recommended that we're trusting in your good judgment on the timing. And if we wait for perfect conditions to do any of these projects, none of them will get done.
It's not going to get done. Sure, agreed. Okay, well, I'm not going to, no, I'll agree as well. I'm not going to be a dissent on giving them authority to do their job.
So I'm gonna redo this CIP with the motion that was made and let you guys look at it the next meeting.
Okay.
That would be great.
So I think everyone understands how this works in here on this. Just to be clear how we work off of this, when we redo it, you guys look at it, you like it, I put it in the budget, then it's approved by council and I can use SDC funds for the project. So that's why this is so important. I think everyone probably already knows that, but I just wanted to reiterate that.
No, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Don't like that we keep pushing it off, and when Jackie sent the email, I'm like, oh yeah, we were supposed to have a meeting, but nothing.
It's a lot to look at, you know
Yeah,
what I
there
mean?
is a
If
lot,
we don't,
yeah.
this is our world, so it's easy for us to look at it and all that. It's overwhelming, but the biggest thing is we want to start a project July 1. And that's what I wanted your guys' kind of blessing on it. What I might do, you guys, is put 10th Avenue and Pine, because of what Jenny said, put them both in this year's budget on the CIP. And then if there runs into problems, we could do the other one. I could do that. I mean,
We trust your judgment.
okay,
No,
Right.
that works.
okay.
No, I appreciate
Berries are
it.
super
Okay,
good.
so you're saying, okay. So that was good.
No,
Good conversation.
Can I make a suggestion on the next one?
yeah.
Since Gary is our resident truck expert, would it be?
Hey, he hung in for a while.
Let's wait till next week.
Oh, very
Or next
interesting.
month.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
Yeah.
he knows about trucks. Thanks a lot for coming.
Oh, no, thank you. Very interesting.
Do you have
Blessings on you.
one of Spencer's cards in case he forgets to strike that?
I won't forget, right?
I'll keep on it too. This is my neighbor.
Yes.
I walk my
They're
dog.
just gonna be impressed. So, thank you.
bye.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Yours, blessings.
Yeah, I
Thank
need
you.
some more training on the pointing.
Well, the smart screen, I didn't realize it was a smart screen.
Yeah.
So, what Clint had mentioned is we're gonna, push off till the next meeting, the location of the truck weight signs. That was something that Gary, was working on, so we're gonna push that until, next meeting in April. So just while we're gonna push that off. The next thing on the agenda is the trees over the roadways. Tracy, do you have any comment on that?
I don't have anything new, other than that it would have to be a code rewrite, and so I'm actually gonna put this to Brianna.
What was the question?
It's about the trees over the roadways. I know on South 13th, we had an issue with one of my neighbors in Cedar Ridge that had arborvitae that were into the sidewalk. And I know last fall, I believe it was, the landscaper was trimming them for her because they were getting into the roadway, but just curious how the city goes about
Well,
or how we keep things safe for everyone to be able to walk? Do people have to report it to the code
Actually,
enforcement?
that was the question at hand, because that is how it is. It's
Yeah.
complaint driven. If you have a bush or something that's impeding, then Carrie goes out and says, trim it. But the question that Bob had were the trees that were up and out of the sidewalk and hanging over it.
Like that
Yeah, the hanging over, above truck height hanging over the street. And I don't know if there's anything we can do about that. So
With
that's the question. to be
unsafe
asked.
limbs hanging in them that could fall
Right.
on
If
pedestrians.
you've got a widowmaker or something, they'd have to take care of that, but I'm not sure how
It's
that's
like at the one
enforced.
in church, they go
Yeah.
through, it's the trucks get it all the time, when the violent stops.
Yeah, so I don't think we have Brianna, is the code written to a specific height over the road? Or does it have to be the roadway is clear to the sky?
I mean, it's interesting because the roadway is then considered the public realm. So we have an 8-foot minimum clearance for sidewalks. So, you can kind of implement it that way with Carrie, for sidewalks and pedestrian access. But once it's in over the road, the development code specifically, chapter 16, the one that I regulate, doesn't address sort of overhang into the road. It might be somewhere else in the Muni code. Carrie might know of something that I don't. But if it's over the street like that, we don't really have any jurisdiction. I think it would be complaint driven. It's the property owner's responsibility.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Jerry, but I think like for regular road travel height, you can't have a vehicle that's over 14 feet. And I believe that with like power lines, they have to be 16 feet off of the roadway. So somewhere in that 14 to 15 onto the road has to be cleared. But anything above that, I don't know of anything that would dictate that you couldn't have something of the road surface
Right.
out over the top.
And sure, it is, possible that something could snap and fall on the road, that's true. Probability, not. It's hard to say. I mean, we could have a freak ice storm again, but there's just no way to, and Bob's, this isn't the answer Bob's gonna want, but it's just, there really isn't anything in our jurisdiction to do about it. I just needed Brianna to confirm that. Thank you.
Now, the fact that it's not currently in our jurisdiction, does that mean it cannot be in our jurisdiction? Would it be worth pursuing creating something that addresses that?
If someone wants to do the legwork and see if other cities do, I haven't seen any precedent set for that.
That would be a very powerful tool if we wanted to put it in the code, kind of seeing what other folks have done. Because again, kind of coming into the public realm, it's a little tricky sometimes with planning and public works.
So I suppose if it's super important, Bob can check with other cities and see what they do.
That makes
Thank
sense.
you.
So thank you very much. Now, the fourth item with the accident data Excel spreadsheet, we're gonna work on that next meeting, do you think, Jeff?
Yeah.
That works? Yeah. Yeah, okay, sounds good. That'll be for our next one. And then the next item is under old business is the Northwest First and Ivy right turn only.
Oh, that was from Ivy, or from First on to Ivy. By Alder Insurance, they wanted a return on the sign. You remember that discussion last month?
Vaguely, yes.
Oh, so Oliver's okay with that too?
Oh, yeah, that was my question.
I haven't checked with them.
I have not had a chance to talk to,
Ryan?
So.
and that was for a right turn off of
From First onto Ivy, so that they're not crossing to go to Cutts Forest or trying to turn
You
left.
can't see that on the traffic at all. If there's two lanes right there.
Yeah,
you can't
that's hard.
see.
What do you all think about that on TV? Are you good with that recommendation?
The only recommendation that I would have is that if we sign no right turn on that one side, that I don't think that's going, I mean, that'll stop the
Well, like this example right there, you got a car crossing the intersection, it would stop that. It would be right turn only onto,
Because there's almost always cars.
yeah. It seems to me a safe choice to do.
Okay, so let's think it through. If you have to take a right turn there, how do you turn around to get back where you want to go? Like if they were trying to go to Cutsworth and you're at that intersection and you have to take a right turn, now you're on Ivy, then you wait at the light to take a left and turn around where to come back. Because my concern would be, I like the idea of people not crossing there. Or actually, I'm on the fence about if I like or don't like people crossing there. But my concern is anytime we restrict movement, people are going to be like, poop, that's not where I wanted to go. And then they're going to have to turn around. And we have very limited good options for that
Turn right
on
on,
there.
right on 99, right on the Grant and start over.
Or if you have room, you can back up a little bit and turn right into the parking lot.
No, you don't back up. You get back down in front of the street.
Right.
Well, so you would just take the rights and then go extra streets up. So you'd go on Grant up to Second and then cut over there.
Yes.
Do we have concerns about extra traffic on Second with all the businesses there? Because it's already pretty hairy with cars and people.
I don't see a lot of people crossing and turning left there anyway. Most people do turn right. So I don't think it's gonna cause any extra congestion, personally.
No. People think twice.
Most people turn right anyway. And so it would just, those brave hearts that wanna just gun it across the intersection, it would stop them and that's it.
Because most people take the other road.
Yeah, they go down Second.
I agree that's the bigger concern for sure. Just had to ask.
Oh, yeah. Well, we looked into that during the quiet zone. And I'm a supporter of it. We just need to dig deeper if we want to do that.
Okay.
Like, make sure that it doesn't do any,
What I wasn't sure is if you'd already looked into it with either Quiet Zone or with First Avenue.
that would need to go to DKS.
So can I make a motion that we,
That he explored if it could be done.
can I make a motion that Jerry explore that we can do this?
Yeah.
I'll second that.
So we're gonna, so our motion is for having Jerry look into making Northwest First and Ivy right turn only. Who favors this? Vote aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, this motion passes.
I got another meeting, so am I good?
Thanks a
Okay,
lot.
thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Yeah, bye-bye. Okay, does anyone have anything for the new business?
I do have one item. Could we go to North Redwood and Territorial? Yes. That's cool. Okay. Now recently you put in a four-way stop here and I think and with crosswalks. And so in the meantime, you have some sandbags in the middle of the road on Territorial on each way, reminding folks that there's a stop sign there. And I'd like to make a motion that in order to get those out of the road, we go with the lighted signage around the stop sign, either above or around the sign, whatever the Public Works deems is appropriate. Because by doing that, I believe that would improve safety and it would allow Public Works to remove those training wheels from the middle of the road.
So those have mostly been out, there's the big orange signs that say new traffic pattern ahead. Legally, those have to be up for 90 days. I think we're at the 90 days right now, so I could go take those down. Typically, I like to leave any of the warning stuff up for as long as I can before.
Yeah, I wouldn't take those down until you have the solution in place.
Usually, Clint, to be completely honest, the last stop sign or the last intersection we turned into a four-way stop, I left those signs up until we did this one.
Oh, okay.
So they were up for, I think, a couple of years, instead of just the 90 days. sandwich boards with the stop signs on them right now that are out, and those aren't a requirement. That was strictly just me wanting to leave those out for
Yeah,
as
it's a
long as
good
possible.
safety
Uh,
measure.
Personally, I'm surprised that they're still up. Typically, when I put those out, they're sacrificial
Well,
and
the first few have disappeared.
they disappear. They usually disappear within a week.
In
Somebody
someone's
takes them.
garage wall now.
So I'm shocked that those are still up, to be completely honest with you. We could remove those at any time. I also wanted to say too that I've been waiting and hoping for a good day I want to go out and paint the stop legend down in front.
Okay.
I know that you're a big proponent of the lighted up signs. And we could definitely, if the group wants, I can put that into the budget.
What do you all think of that on TV?
What's most cost
What?
effective?
To go out and paint the stop legends down is probably, an hour to 2 hours worth of staff time, and then it would just be highlighting as needed through maintenance throughout the years. And then for the lighted up signs, trying to remember what we spent on the last one for Pine Street. I want to say those are about 5,000
Each?
Yeah. And so then it would be however long the signs stay in function, because there's still maintenance to be done on those. We could look into, instead of doing a solar, possibly putting in actual electrical to where it's not solar, it'd be hardwired in meter. But that would definitely raise cost of things as it's going. So
Some of the reasons I'm a big proponent of that added safety is down here, Public Works, of course, you got the Public Works team, you got the fire emergency station, you have, the posted speed on along Territorial there is 30 miles an hour, but many people think that's a suggestion. There's a lot of pedestrians in the area, people crossing, and a lot of people use Territorial as a pass-through, so they might not be as familiar with that new four-way stop. So I think that would be a really important improvement for safety. And that's why I make a motion that we have Public Works install those when they deem appropriate.
Are we seeing issues with people blowing through the stop sign or not slowing down that makes us think we need to draw extra attention to it? I'm not over there a ton, but it seemed like it was pretty visible from all four sides. Like, regardless of what direction you were coming from, it was pretty obvious there was an intersection there.
Add to that, when you're coming down Territorial, the stop sign that you see, whether you're heading to 99 or whether you're heading toward Holly Street, they're set back quite a ways. And so, I mean, there's no question if you're coming down North Redwood or you're coming out of Public Works, there's no question there's a stop sign there. But if you're on either direction on Territorial, they're set back far enough. And I've been out walking the dogs on a weekend when there's not a lot of cars around early in the morning. And yes, I've seen people just cruise right on through them and Spencer, too.
there is occasion when I'm coming in first thing in the morning that somebody might do the kind of a California stop, if you will, where it's down through it, but not come to a complete stop.
What about, I thought about this on Pine too, but we might fix it another way. Dryland Road, Barnard's Road, those really bad intersections that people blow through the stop signs that cause great wrecks. They put stop sign on both
Both
sides.
sides.
What about that? Is there any downsides to that?
To be completely honest, I have not, up until recently, seen them do that down Bernard's, Dryland, and everywhere else in the last year with the county. I
Yeah,
have
and
never,
actually Knightsbridge has it,
Well, there's
it's
such
a
a
Barlow
point
too.
too. Such a point.
Yeah, Central Point. They
Yeah,
added some
Central Point,
improvements
you are
there.
But
I,
I think that Barlow onto Knightsbridge has them now too, I think. If I remember, I
Okay.
think.
I'll have to, I've heard that stretch. I've always go the other way. But I personally have not done any work with putting stop signs on both sides, and I hadn't seen it until the county just started recently doing it. For this particular one, like Clint says, is that the sidewalks and where the stop signs go with the extra white bike lanes and everything else, that even if you do put them on both sides, it is still, to put it on the opposite side far enough out of there,
Yeah.
it is a long way
Might be
over.
too tough, but painting the ground's probably the best.
Yeah.
If anyone has a hard time accepting this idea, I would say that if you hung your speed signs anywhere near what was their stop, so that's not gonna read. But, so I just stick with my motion to install those when you do appropriate. Looking for
Yes.
that.
Oh, that's right, we are breaking the rules again.
Anyone second Clint's motion?
Like a second there for whenever Spencer Jerry thinks it's appropriate. I don't know why.
Thank you.
So let me know.
Oh, no, you gotta go
We
first.
gotta vote for,
Yeah, so let's vote, so this is for Spencer being able to, when he deems it appropriate to put the stoplight that is lighted, that flashes at North Territorial and Redwood. Those that approve, please vote.
Aye.
Aye.
James nodding.
Jenny, Eric, do you
Yeah.
guys?
That's an aye.
Okay, and then those opposed? Okay, this motion passes.
I think I was the one that hijacked Robert's rules on that one, so my apologies.
Okay, anything else for new business? Okay, going on to city staff reports. I didn't hear from the police, so they aren't here, so let's move on. Spencer,
Planning, you forgot.
or wait, planning, sorry.
That's all right. I actually don't have any big updates. We're chugging right along with all of the, TSP comp plan updates. Dawn has been working with Bob directly on that. And I'm happy to answer any questions. A lot of the projects that we already know about are still in the works. I can't think of anything big coming to planning commission in the next few months, but that's not to say that there won't be. And, I'll keep you guys updated on that, but happy to answer questions.
Okay, anyone have any questions for Brianna?
Thank you though for what you do.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Spencer.
I don't really have a whole lot to report on, other than I'm waiting for another phone call for our South Ivy. When we were out there helping Kim Utility install the underground, we've been fighting with the vendor on trying to get a lid for a power vault that was set in the sidewalk that we haven't been able to continue that until this whole lid shows up. Been waiting on it for 2 months, and now I think it's supposed to be here today. So if that's the case, then we're gonna go set the lid tomorrow and get going again on getting the power all undergrounded on South Ivy next week.
Nice.
Kind of our plan.
Nice. Question for you, because this got brought up thanks to a call that I had with Cub. Who changes the street lights on 13th? Who changes those? Is that Cub or is that on the city of Canby?
So when it comes to streetlights, if it is a city light, the city crew will go out if it's not working to change either the bulb itself or the photo cell up on top. That's as far as we can go into it. So if there's another issue with the ballast inside of it or something like that, then we refer it over to Canby Utility to have their lineman come in and replace the head of the street light. Unless it is a leased light, which none of the ones on the major streets would be. Places that have leased lights would be like Darcy Estates down in the old Honda pits. everything that's on the public streets are public streetlights, but then on that top row where it has that private drive, there's streetlights in there that are private lights that are leased directly to Kim Utility. So if anyone wants something done with that, they have to contact Kim Utility directly. So it's kind of most people aren't gonna know which lights are a leased light compared to a regular street light. Typically, if you were to just call the city, we would decide if we're going out to change the bulb or if we gotta refer it over to Kim Utility to change the bulb.
Okay, okay.
So it's either way they call it.
Pretty much they call Rhonda and she handles it from there.
Okay, is that something new? Because before when I used to do the lease light changes,
Mhm.
because I'm in the HOA and I just called Cub and they came out. and-
If you already know that it is a leased light,
Yeah,
and like in your case, that's one thing I could remember is if your whole neighborhood, if those are all leased lights or public lights. So if you are the one that knows, you can call them directly.
okay,
You don't have to go through Rhonda. If you know that it is a leased light, then you
yeah.
can just direct it to them directly. Most people just don't know. They're just like, hey, my street light's out, somebody come fix it. So,
No, makes
Yeah.
sense. No, when I called, the gal was fighting me on the phone. So I said, well, I'll talk to city guy on Wednesday and we'll get it worked out. So I
Gotcha.
just
So
wanted to verify.
if those, and I'm not fully up to speed on which ones are leased lights myself.
Yeah.
I usually ask Kim Utility myself because they've got a list of which ones they are. So if you know that they are a leased light, then you could contact them. You're probably gonna get somebody in their front office that may not deal with it as often as we do.
Yeah.
So sometimes it is better just to call Rhonda. That's usually my go-to is call Rhonda.
No, sounds good. No, appreciate it. Okay, so thank you for all that you do.
I was just gonna give a appreciation to Public Works, littering in between Oregon City and Canby is just
Oh, it's
atrocious,
bad.
and it's almost as if ODOT just doesn't do anything about it anymore. And a few Sundays ago, I went out, put on my reflective vest and just started picking up trash. I went on to 99, on the side there going into Canby and filled 7 big yard debris trash bags. And I wanted to thank you guys at Public Works for picking those up. And then I just wanted to report that I saw there's a road sign that's down on the side. If you're heading into Canby, and you go by Jarbo's, it's just on the right. It's face down, so I can't tell if
Okay.
it's a turn on or whatever, but again, thank you very much for that. And then for Public Works, I'm gonna lead into, the counselor liaison and say, is there anything that can be working with the city of Oregon City can do and activate volunteer groups to really pick up this trash? It's just shameful. And it's just a problem that's getting worse and worse and worse. And there must be like dumping of trash in between Oregon City and Canby. And it's just,
And
it's
that could be,
unacceptable.
with the amount of campers along the way, it could be exactly that, they're dumping the trash. And I would take that to the Board of County Commissioners.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is definitely one section where someone is actually
Yeah.
dumping their trash.
Yeah, it's county jurisdiction and ODOT, but
Yeah.
it should be taken to the BCC. They probably have more weight to pull with ODOT than we do.
And then one other thing I'll tell you, just on a fun side note, sorry to get on these pages. If you go to Google and you just type in Oregon City Mill project or site, you can pull it up and you click on the first link, and there's a video down below. You can see their progress, the last few years, and it does it in an accelerated.
Oh, the time lapse thing, I saw that, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty neat. So anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah, somebody posted that on Facebook, it was kind of cool.
Oh, interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Tracy, anything to share?
Not really, as Brianna said, everything's just kind of clicking away, nothing really big or new coming along. The comp plan is kind of just doing its thing, and traffic safety plan, all that stuff is just kind of in the works. There's really no decision points at this point.
Okay.
So I'm sure when there's decision points on the traffic system plan, it'll come here too. So when that happens, I'll let you know, but it's a little ways down the road yet, I think. That's nothing else that I have, unless you have questions for me.
Thanks so much.
Anyone have questions for Tracy? Okay, so I'll move on then. So for board members report, I just have noticed that with the construction now on 99E, sounds like it's on hold for a little bit. And I'm hoping that when it gears up again, that there'll be some better signage for when you're on 99 by Canby Fourth, because I feel like that left lane closure comes pretty fast and people don't really do anything until right at the last minute, which is typical. But just I'm finding that there's been a lot more traffic on Bird Parkway because of 99E closed, but we have to, as neighbors, have to be mindful that, you know, I won't want to sit on 99E for as long as I have, because it's a nightmare during the construction time, so just be mindful of that.
Bird Parkway is the listed detour.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. And
ODOT's literally sending them down your road.
yeah, and I noticed that on Elm Street, the sign for Bird Parkway, I don't know if it's a wind or if someone's messing with it, but it normally is facing like going down Elm Street.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not turned to be on Berg, it looks like.
Well, all of them are flipped right now. Every
Yeah,
sign's
yeah,
flipped.
no, I know
Okay.
flip right now, but during the construction
It
time,
was still.
it was still flip, because I was like, oh,
Okay,
this is
that's
kind
fine.
of weird. So,
Like, you go down that way, don't you?
yeah,
I didn't notice that, that's funny.
You go down and all.
There's probably some kid messing with it.
yeah, no, I'm assuming probably a kid was playing with it, but it was just kind of like, wait, what's going on? Okay, Gary and Bob aren't here, Clint,
No, thank, I'm good.
okay. Jenny, do you have anything to share?
I had a quick question for Spencer. Were we ever able to paint the no parking on Fifth and Cedar over by the elementary school, or is that still in the queue?
I know that they put the sign up. I can't remember if he went out and painted that curb yet or not. I think he,
I don't remember seeing it.
I don't think he, it's yellow yet, mostly because the few times that he did get a chance to have a dry afternoon, I think I pulled him off. But I will definitely check. I know it is definitely still on the list. It will be done if it's not already, weather dependent, between now and this spring.
The other thing I had was kind of a question. I was hoping Spencer might still be around, but, or excuse me, Jerry, but Spencer, you and Tracy might be able to answer. Do we have, preferably with multiple groups, like maybe police and fire and public works, if there was an emergency in Canby, particularly if there was a problem, say, with the rail line, do we have the ability to put out a push notification to phones to tell people that there's a problem? Because I mean, not only would it impact traffic, but it just got me thinking, I'm like, well, you know, do we have that communication already set up that we can just tell somebody, hey, you know, in a short order of time, be able to put out a push notification?
Not yet.
The city can't put out one. I'm sure that through,
Reverse fire alarm.
I'm trying to think of who actually does set up, if that's the state or the county.
County has their program on their webpage. I don't know if Tracy, you would contact the board and have them contact CCOM and do it, or if the board would do it, Clackamas County Board.
How did they do that when they had the fires? Where did that come in?
That came out of the county.
I think it was out of the county. So I think what it would be, Jenny, is if we did have something like that, it would just be a matter of someone from the city calling Clackamas County to ask for that push notification to be sent. But right now, the city doesn't have the capability of just sending it out ourselves.
Okay, well, I would make the respectful recommendation that we figure out exactly what that process is and that everybody, say police, fire, public works, the city itself, knows who to contact and how to make that happen in short order. because it seems like we could very easily determine what that is and give everybody a standard operating procedure, post it somewhere in an emergency, this is what you do, so that we're not losing valuable time and creating problems that are unnecessary for the community if there was a major issue.
Yeah, and I think something like that would have to come from probably the city administrator or the fire chief or the police chief. So it would, I might be making an assumption that they already have that, and it's just whether or not we know they have that.
Well, this isn't necessarily under the purview of the Traffic Safety Commission, but I do appreciate you bringing it to me, and I will dig into what we do have it in place. If we already have a procedure where, you know, Jamie or the chief or somebody already calls the county, I'll find that out and let you know. And then if we don't have a plan in place, we'll get one.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for allowing me to bring it up here. I was like, well, it is traffic adjacent, because if there was an issue and you couldn't cross the tracks, there'd be lots of traffic issues. All right, that's all I've got for you now. Thank you.
Jackie?
I don't really have anything, but I did, the last meeting, we were talking about ODOT and how they weren't very responsive. And then I went to their website, and they do have a commission, like a board committee that I think that one of us could probably go to and share our grievances.
Where would that be?
It was at the ODOT, state of Oregon,
So it's in Salem, probably?
it's online.
Oh, where the commission meets?
Yeah.
I believe it's on Lana Drive, I think. in Salem.
Also, maybe you can also join on Zoom. I just thought.
I think everything's hybrid now.
I just thought it'd be an interesting place to go, because they say that their mission is for the safety of the market. I think it'd be interesting if we brought up our concerns, and we don't feel like we're being listened to.
No, it's not a bad idea.
Just want to make sure everybody knows that that was an option we could talk about later.
Okay, perfect. Eric, do you have anything to share?
That's a negative at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, that will wrap it up for today's meeting, and our next meeting will be Wednesday, April 12th at 8:30 in the morning. So we will see you then. Everyone have a wonderful week.
You too.
Thank you. You guys too. Bye-bye.
Congratulations for 10.
Yeah, demonstration.
Okay.
I'm in the meeting.
Ouch.
Third.
Bye.